Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And I've got a good one for you today. We're going to talk about how the credit delinquencies have gone completely over the top, and banks know that there's a huge problem coming, and a lot to cover today. Before I do, please take a second. Please don't forget to like the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also hit the bell notification so you get notified of everything we're doing. But let's get right into it. Um, Before I get into the credit notifications and all the delinquencies, I want to talk to you guys about banks and what they're doing with the release of funds. Cheryl sent me the greatest receipt from her deposit this last week. And Cheryl deposited a nice big fat check into Truist Bank. And Truist Bank absolutely hosed her, because when you see this, and I'll put the deposit slip right there, they held the majority of the money for a long period of time. Now, $5,500 is available the 24th, the next day, and then she's got $68,000+ held until November 1st. Now, this was because the deposit exceeded $5,525. That's insane, guys. That is absolutely ludicrous. And I don't know what the money was from. I don't know what Cheryl does for a living. I have no clue. That's irrelevant at this point with the part of this story. I took it upon myself to go into some different banks. And I said, listen, if I deposited 75 grand into this bank, I want to know how long you're going to hold the check. If you hold the check, how long is it going to take to get released? Oh, okay, Dan, it's based on what kind of customer you are, your relationship with the bank, is the account continually overdrawn, that type of thing. Well, wait a second. You guys, let's say you put a hold on it for, almost 15 days. How long until I get the money released? If the check cleared the bank, if I took a picture of the check and I walked in here after 3 days, would you guys release the funds? Oh, yeah, we would do that, because we'd call the bank and we could do that. We don't encourage it because, checks can be stopped, Dan, as much as a week later, which is complete BS. It's not true. Okay. Once the money's taken out of their account, you can't go back and retroactively stop checks, because people would do that all over the place. So I went into Wells Fargo. I went into Bank of America, and I went into Citibank and asked this question. And the point was that they all said the same thing. And my favorite was, do you have an account with us? No, I don't. Just curious. Oh, okay. So the point was this is ridiculous that banks are doing this. Banks are playing with people's money and holding people's money like they never have before. Now, you can call and get those funds released with most banks. Some say we don't encourage it. We don't necessarily do it all the time. You have to have a relationship. La 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 la. Okay. Now, credit card delinquencies are on the rise. Every bank is expecting more and more people to go upside down with their credit cards right now. Now, in the last month, credit card delinquencies went up over 1% right now, which is huge. These are the people that have not paid over 3 months, and they're either going to get sued or they're going to get completely written off and have a charge off in their account. But they're going to start to sue people, is what's going to happen with all this stuff. So that's grown substantially. Now, here's where it gets really eerie, okay? And that is let's start with American Express. American Express announces that they have $778 million set aside for bad loans and for bad payments. Now, American Express is a charge card, charge the card, pay it off at the end of the month. They've set aside $750 million already for that. They've also announced that it's not enough money and that they need another $387 million for bad loans, because trouble is here and trouble is coming. Now, Capital One, their delinquencies rose to over 1% right now. And again, you can sit there and say, these are not really big numbers. No, they're huge numbers, because they used to be as low as 0.29%. In other words, people were paying their bills. During the health crisis, when it started, everybody started paying off their their credit cards. That was one thing that happened. You had people that were like, I don't want to have this debt, don't know the security, don't know how secure I'm going to be with my job. So people did the smart thing, and I was one of them that paid off all my debt during that time. So people did that, and you've got Bank of America. Bank of America says that their loan delinquencies, because they hold the reins in. When the health crisis started, Bank of America said that they got more stringent with lending, and when they got more stringent, they got rid of the bad debt and turned people down for credits and things like that. So that um, that made it so that their losses were not as big. Allied Bank, Ally Bank, which is the online banking program, they're known as a bank and a lender. They don't have branches. Their average car loan interest rate went up substantially to 7.9%. But even the CEO says that this is a fluid situation, and the macro problem of accounts going bad is increasing ever so much, and they don't have a number for where it's going to go. Ooh, okay. Well, that again should concern everybody because people are not paying their bills. People are relying on credit more right now to get by than they have in the past. And it's only getting bigger, and the numbers are getting bigger, and that is an absolute huge concern for everybody right now. So the lending game right now is such that they know that there's a problem. Jamie Dimon tried to step forward. Now, think about this. Jamie Dimon, literally, when you hear these stories from this guy, look at the date of the stories. These are not things that they regurgitate from 90 days ago. This guy's talking about how upside down everything is right now and how things are bad right now. And then Friday, this guy steps forward and says, I think it's full steam ahead. And I think that we're going to just trudge through this and we're going to do great. No, 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 no. What about the hurricane? What about stormy weather? What about all the stuff that this guy was talking about, 30 days ago? Oh, it's all better now because the Fed's going to pivot. This is ridiculous that this is how this is being presented to us. Um, Look, guys, mom yoga. Isn't that nice? Not the montage. So it's just getting worse right now, but there's a lot more to cover. So, okay, good luck. Now to get back to the credit situation, think about this. Bank of America, who took a huge loss in 2008 and from everything that happened prior to that, 2006, 2007, the buildup, and then 2008, they have $800 million right now put aside for bad loans. $800 million. Why is this, guys? Why does the cash reserve and the war chest keep getting bigger for these banks? It's because they know that there's a situation. They know that the storm is brewing. Now, Elon Musk, who said, "Hey, everything's great with Tesla. We're going pedal to the metal," is what his line was this week, has said, "Hey, we're already in a recession. Things are cutting back. People are cutting back, but we need this. We need this clarification. People had cheap money. People borrowed money they shouldn't have. Loans need to go bad." There's a great story below from Elon Musk talking about how you need to have carnage right now, and the carnage is going to continue to make it so that only the strong are going to survive. Now, SpaceX is going to be here, Tesla's going to be here when this is done, but guys, it's really easy for a big company to sit there and say, this is the greatest thing ever, and people losing their jobs and people losing income is going to be all fine and dandy. I think it's horrible right now, and I think that the average person hasn't prepared for this. They haven't, put two, 2 minutes together to do a financial plan. You have to sit down and you have to work on on your finances. You've got to. And again, if you are by yourself, you need to do this. If you have a spouse or a team or kids or anything, you need to sit down and prepare for this. It is imperative that you do this right now. Um, it's too much right now. It's just no one's sitting there and taking this seriously. If you think that this ends well, you're absolutely kidding yourself. Now, I get the people that write me and say, oh, you're just Mr. Doom and Gloom. Everything I talk about is based on a story or an email or a letter from people. And, you know, I get people that write me and tell me how stupid I am and how they go to the Dodger game and we paid $500 for nosebleed seats and watched them get beat. And Jamba Juice is busy and Orange County is completely packed. You're delusional. Any of you that sit down and think that everything is perfect right now, you're absolutely kidding yourself. The rents for businesses are not being paid right now. People are delinquent. People are absolutely behind, and businesses are finally having to pay up right now. The days of free lunch, all the free money, all the PPP money and everything is over with, and now it's affected everything with interest rates that have gone up 3 points since the first of the year. Think about this. Mortgage rates right now fluctuated this week. They were really good, between 7.3 and 7.4% for the average mortgage if you're a good customer and you've got good credit. Oh, that seems kind of high to me. It does. And if you don't think that, you guys are absolutely kidding yourself, because we have seen mortgages, in our lifetimes of this high. It's not the highest rate. I'm not talking about that. The problem with it is houses have gone up 5 times what they were previously. If you had a $150,000 mortgage and you had 7%, you could care less about that. Everybody can afford the payment. It's not a big deal. But the problem right now is that you've got people with mortgages that are $850,000 and are in big trouble. So again, work on an economic plan. 70% of the people out there want to have a side gig, want to have side income. We're going to have some ways to make money in the coming videos, and we're going to expand on that. And one thing I always press with people is, what are you good at? What do you know? Look at this lady that runs the yoga class on Saturday. Think about this. I think that they pay like $50 a person to come out here or something crazy. Who knows? But it's cash. She's making all this money. It's absolutely crazy that these people come out here religiously and do this. It's about to rain out here, and these people don't want to miss the yoga class. What are you good at? What are you good at that you can make money and sell to people? Fly fishing. Do you know the law? Do you know anything about hunting, fishing, survival, prepping? Anything. Talk about it. Sell it. People will buy it right now. People are looking for that side gig, and they want your knowledge. So there's a lot more to cover. It's beautiful up here, calm before the storm. This is Laguna, right at the Montage. Just absolutely stunning. Families down there like with their own private beach right now because there's nobody down there. It's absolutely amazing. When you think of inflation and you think of how it's affected everything, it has absolutely destroyed so many things that we buy on a daily basis. And when I got this list, I was absolutely floored by it. First thing was eggs. Eggs have gone up 106%. Think of everything that we buy that eggs are, part of. When you add it up, I mean, everything's gone up as a result of this. Poultry products, chicken, okay, has gone up during this time 25% conservatively, which I think it's higher than that. I think that there's crazy, and they're talking about how chicken's gone up 30 cents a pound for whole chickens and all this stuff. It's nuts. It's if you can get it, and it's gone up dramatically. Beef has gone up almost 35%, natural gas 40%, and there's no end in sight. We're going to see shortages this year for heating oil, for natural gas, and for kerosene. It's going to absolutely affect the East Coast like we've never seen. And then you look at different places like, um, you know, the UK, Germany, and all these other places that are going to be just taken out because of this. So the other thing is, auto parts, car parts, if they can get it, they've gone up, 40% as well. Fuel prices have basically doubled during this time, and it's just affected everything. When you have diesel that people cannot get right now, think of everything that's delivered via truck, via train. And if you don't think about this, I mean, why is everything so expensive right now? Amazon just announced this. Think about this. They're going to buy their own fleet of cargo planes. They talked about this in the past, but it's done now. Hawaiian Airlines. It's a story below. It's fantastic. And it's a brilliant move on their part, but think about this. Planes go faster than cargo ships do. I met a man a little over a year ago when the debacle was happening with the cargo ships, and he was a CFO for an electronics company, and he was telling me how they have cargo planes that they would rent, and they would tell people, hey, listen, you're going to get your electronic shipment faster, but it's going to cost you $700 more. Do you want it next Thursday, or do you want to wait 90 days or God knows when? Okay, we'll pay the $700. And they would pay it, gleefully pay it, because they would get what they wanted, and they had it within a week or so and land in that plane. So business is never going to be the same as a result of all this. The smart people that accept that understand that they've got to look at different ways to make money, different ways to sell, and run a lean and mean fighting machine, those are the people that are going to be the most successful during this time. And again, we talk about frugality. Get yourself out of debt, pay your bills off, and you're going to live a much happier life right now. I'm floored at people that are continuing to get into debt right now. And the banks, when the banks get worried about this stuff and admit that they've got a concern and that they're stockpiling money because people are behind and people are not paying their bills, that should get you concerned. The default rate is growing. You're going to see massive bankruptcies. You're going to see people that are completely upside down. Now, for those of you people out there that borrowed EIDL money and think you're just going to bankrupt the government, you have another thing coming. That is truly one of the most restrictive loans ever. If you default on that loan, you immediately open a Department of Justice investigation into your business, and you better have a good reason for going out of business during that time. It better not be your incompetence or that you squandered that money, because they're going to call that money in. Plus, they're reviewing every PPP loan. So for those of you that even haven't forgiven, look what we pulled off. Okay? Trouble could be coming your way, guys. So be ready and wake up to this, because now they have bureaucrats that have nothing but time on their hands to go through the applications and make sure that people told the truth. And, people that had loans written off, yes, some of them have to pay them back now. Some of them, they're getting the loans called in and say, you were never entitled to this money, return it. And you don't have it. You squandered it, like, oh my God, I can get this free government money and buy stuff. So share your thoughts on all this stuff right now. Here's a couple interesting stories that I think you guys will like. And the first one is your state ready for a recession? And it was a good headline. It caught my attention. It talked about North Carolina, how North Carolina has lowered income tax rates, lowered corporate tax rates, and it basically made it so that there's more business activity and things are thriving in North Carolina. And if more states did this, it would help the state in a much better way. And it would make that more financially viable and get through these difficult times. And it would spur business and people to open businesses over states like California that just raised its personal income tax level to 14.2%. Now, somebody sent me this great article about 401ks and said, oh, look at how much more we can save. 401ks went up a whole $2,250 for 2023. Again, guys, it's not enough money, but I also suggest get yourself a financial advisor. Start planning now for next year. Always do that. Always, always, always do that. Another thing that's absolutely fascinating is a trucking company, a large trucking company here in LA, Navarro Trucking, just filed for bankruptcy. And the fascinating thing about this is that Navarro, you know, has $10 million in liabilities, has less than $500,000 in assets, but it had, 30 people that are going to lose their job as a result of Navarro going bankrupt. And this is horrific. But If you don't think that the diesel fuel prices are affecting everything, you're kidding yourself. Diesel fuel has gone up so much during the last year that these trucking companies cannot get through this. They cannot, this is a company that goes to and from the ports of LA, ports of Los Angeles, and delivers to people. They cannot get themselves, cannot make enough money during this time. And now the shipments from China are off. Things have gone down in price. And Navarro Trucking, I'm sorry for the company. I'm sorry for the Navarro family. I'm sorry for everybody involved in that. But this is the sign of the times. And if you think that this is an anomaly, this is the beginning of this. You're going to see many, many more bankruptcies and many more problems in the future when it comes to bankruptcies and things like that. I, for one, do not believe the unemployment numbers. I don't think that we have unemployment at 3.5%. I think it's ridiculous. A great story out of Fortune magazine about the great resignation is that people quit their jobs in droves over the course of the last 2 years and wanted to change. The majority of the people said it was for money and they were tired of the low pay that they were getting, so they wanted to go out and make a job change because they were going to get more money. 60% of the people said that they hated their boss and that the work environment was horrible. So that made people change. Now, the funny thing now is that almost half the people out there that have a job right now say that they're worried about losing their job right now and that they're worried that they're going to be laid off and fired. 60% of the people that just did a recent job change said that that's their biggest concern, is that they may have jumped the gun and switched companies and then they're going to be the first ones to be let go. So this reminds me of the dot-com era. And I had a friend that was an attorney that did a lot of contracts for these programmers and people during the dot-com era from 20 plus years ago. And one day we met for lunch and he was finally just had it. And he had one guy that had changed jobs so much over the course of 4 months. Okay. He had 5 different companies he worked with in 4 months, which I can't believe anybody would hire a guy that worked at this many places. But the guy's final thing was, now understand this, it was late 90s, okay? Late 90s. And this guy's, contract was going to go from 123,000 to 126,000. And finally the attorney said, "You're nuts. I'm not going to do a new employment contract with you and with this company for $3,000 a year more." Well, it's $3,000 a year more. And there was no other substantial reason, no benefit, no nothing. But people got themselves into these crazy quagmires where they would go out and change jobs thinking it was going to benefit their life and change their life. And sure enough, this guy ended up losing his job and the stock options and everything. In other words, he also jumped from company to company to company and never had himself anything that he got out of any of that, which happened to so many other people. But right now, you're seeing so many people that have switched jobs for whatever reason. And again, I understand you leave a job. I've left jobs because I just hated the people I worked with, and was the greatest day of my life sometimes when you leave these things. So, anyways, one question I've asked before, which I want to ask again, is what's the best way you've quit a job? Share this with us. Tell us, okay? Because I really want to know. Oh, she's back playing the guitar. So the guitar guys got back. They used to have a guitar guy that would walk through, and when the class was much bigger, and he would play the guitar and look at all the women, which I thought, there's a side gig. Want a side hustle? Be a guitar guy that plays at the yoga place. Wonder what that pays. It's probably, oh man. Anyways, I don't play an instrument, so I could get through it though, doing what she's doing, just strumming and singing horribly. Anyways, share your thoughts. A friend of mine wanted to go get a sport coat and wanted me to go with him. So yesterday we hop in the car, we drive to different places. One place that we ended up at was the Burlington Coat Factory in Huntington Beach, California, at the Bellaterra Mall. Nice place. Okay, I've been in there dozens of times. The store is now a shell of what it once was. They have eliminated the second floor completely. They have cut the square footage of the store down to where it's literally 20% of what it was, what it used to be. Now, the thing that caught my eye walking in the store that I want to talk to you guys about is there was a loss prevention guy there, some young kid. Hey, how are you? When we walked in, and I didn't think much about it. But then we go to the men's section, and sport coats, which used to be this big section that you could go through, had nothing. Okay, they literally had one rack of coats that looked like somebody had dumped them on the floor and then put them back in the rack. They were horrible. Okay, so we leave. We're walking out, and this kid's got this big loss prevention thing on the back of his shirt. And I said, "Hey, I got to ask you a question. Is, theft a problem here?" And the guy starts laughing. He says, "Yeah." He goes, "I caught 7 shoplifters today." Guys, on a Friday, during the day, the guy got 7 shoplifters. And he said the other night, between 8 o'clock and closing, the only people that were in the store were people that were trying to steal stuff from us. So isn't that awesome? Isn't that fantastic? Wouldn't you want to be in a store like Burlington Coat Factory where everybody's just trying to rip things off? That is horrific. Thank God for this kid, but what a dangerous job, first of all. But I admire Burlington because a lot of these places are sick of this. And he takes the merchandise and pulls it. And he said, if you wait here long enough with me, you'll see somebody trying to steal something. And crazy. So at both exits, they have loss prevention people to do this. Have you guys seen this? Retail crime is an absolute disaster. And again, as people get more desperate, they're going to do this more and more. The worst part, he said, is that people steal stuff and then try to return it for cash, and sometimes they're successful. Okay? Share your thoughts on that one, guys. I really cannot believe that this is the hell that is our life right now. So let me know how you guys are feeling about all this right now. Just absolutely beautiful today as the clouds break away. It's beautiful. We're going to end this video by playing a game. And the game is, how much is this house? See this house? 3-bedroom, 1-bath house in the flight path, right near the airport. Okay? Pretty, huh? Okay? Isn't that nice? Hear that noise? That's the airplane taking off right next to your house. Okay? How much is that house, guys? Any guess? $1.65 million. $1,650,000. The world has gone insane. Now, for my friends out there, if you ever worry about me and if you ever want to know, wow, has Dan lost it? It would take 2 things. Number one, I would become a professional day drinker. If I start doing that, which I've never done, that would be a bad sign. Worry about Dan. Number 2, if I bought this house for $1.65 million, that would be the final straw. So again, look at that. $1.65 million in the city of Costa Mesa, California. Hello. Okay, the world has lost its mind. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Onward and Upward, guys. Don't forget the party details. Tomorrow, you're getting the party details, and I cannot wait to share them with you. Don't forget, you can join our email list below. And if you want more exclusive content, there's always Patreon that you can sign up for and get more exclusive content. But that house could be yours for $1.65 million. $1,650,000. I have to say it because I just can't believe it. Okay? And I'm not day drinking right now, so there's that. Okay? I'll see you guys soon.